on perfect wisdom, with the divisions of the Epissimulacra. Translated by EdwardConze, 1904–1979. University of California Press, Berkeley, Los Angeles, London. Chapter 83. The Manifestation of a Bodhisattva's Training. Problems of Training. Thereupon the Bodhisattva Maitreya, the Great Being, said this to the Lord: If, O Lord, all dharmas have non-existence for own being, how then should the Bodhisattva, who courses in the perfection of wisdom and who wants to train in the training of a Bodhisattva, train in the 5 skandhas, the 12 sense fields, the 18 elements, in the sense fields of eye contact, 2, mind contact, in ignorance, 2, decay and death, in the truths of suffering, origination, stopping, and the path? How should he train in dharmas which are with or without form, definable or undefinable, resisting or non-resisting, conditioned or unconditioned, with or without outflows, with or without blemish, mean or exalted, inward or outward, seen, heard, known, or discerned, past, future, or present, wholesome or unwholesome, determined or undetermined, associated with the world of sense desire, the world of form or the formless world, belonging to those in training, to the adepts, or those who are neither in training nor adepts? How should he train in greed, aversion, pride, ignorance, wrong view, or doubt? How should he train in stinginess or giving, immorality or morality, ill will or patience, indolence or vigour, distraction or concentration, stupidity or wisdom? How should he train in discrimination or emptiness, in the sign or the signless, in wrong wishes or right wishes, in lovely or repulsive dharmas? How should he train in the defilements, or their forsaking, in defiling or purification, in birth and death, or the realm of nirvana? How should he train in the Bodhidharmas? 2. All things are mere words. The Lord, a Bodhisattva, Maitreya, a great being who courses in perfect wisdom, and who wants to train in the training of a Bodhisattva, should train in that form. 2. The Bodhidharmas are mere names. Maitreya, if, O Lord, this designation, i.e. this is form, were apprehended as though it were an entity, on account of its being taken for the sign of something conditioned, how, then, could a Bodhisattva train in that form, are mere names? But since it is without a corresponding entity, is it not improper to say of this name even that it is a mere name, or to say of this is form, that it is a mere name? The Lord, as something adventitious, has that designation been added on to that entity, which is the sign of something conditioned, i.e. when one says that this is form, and since through that entity which is the sign of something conditioned that name, i.e. form, is followed by the conviction, the assignment, the recognition, that it is form, therefore one should know also by this method that as adventitious has that designation been added on to that entity which is the sign of something conditioned, i.e. this is form. What do you think, Maitreya, does someone perhaps have with regard to this entity, which is the sign of something conditioned, a notion, concept, name, conventional expression, or false belief? Maitreya, so it is. The Lord, by this method also, Maitreya, you should know that as adventitious has that designation been added on to this entity, which is the sign of something conditioned, i.e. this is form. The actual reality of named things. Maitreya, if this is so, is then form, actually apprehended by way of own being as a result of taking hold of that entity which is the sign of something conditioned and on account of which there takes place the name, notion, concept and conventional expression, this is form. The Lord, form, is a name, notion, concept, and conventional expression with regard to an entity which is the sign of something conditioned. What do you think, Maitreya, is also the own being of that form, merely conceptual? Maitreya, it is merely conceptual, merely conceptual. The Lord, in that case you can surely not assume that the real own being of form has actually been apprehended when one takes up that entity which is the sign of something conditioned on account of which there takes place is the name, notion, concept, and conventional expression that this is form. Maitreya, if form are nothing but mere names, notions, social agreements, concepts and conventional expressions, is it not so that their own being is then actually apprehended in the sense that they are nothing but mere names, notions, social agreements, concepts, and conventional expressions. The Lord, what do you think, maitreya, when form, are nothing but mere names, notions, social agreements, concepts, and conventional expressions? Can one then conceive of their production, or passing away, of their defiling or purification? Maitreya, no, O Lord. The Lord, in that case, maitreya, you can surely not assume that the real own being of form has actually been apprehended. Maitreya, do then form altogether not exist by way of their own marks? The Lord, that I do not teach. Maitreya, how, then, do form exist? The Lord, form, exist by way of worldly social agreements and conventional expressions, but not in ultimate reality. Maitreya, as I, O Lord, understand the meaning of the Lord's teaching, the inexpressible realm exists by way of ultimate reality. But if that is so, how is it that that entity which is the sign of something conditioned and to which form has been added on as an adventitious designation, does not exist by way of ultimate reality? If that does not exist by way of ultimate reality, how, then, does the inexpressible realm exist? For is it not logical to equate the entity, which is the sign of something conditioned, with the inexpressible realm? The Lord, I will therefore, maitreya, question you on this, and you may answer as best you can. What do you think, maitreya, when your wisdom becomes united with the inexpressible realm? Do you then on that occasion apprehend the entity, which is the sign of something conditioned and to which is added on the adventitious designation that this is form? Maitreya, no, O Lord. The Lord, in this way, also, maitreya, you should know that that entity which is the sign of something conditioned is neither other than the inexpressible realm, nor not other. And why is this so? If the inexpressible realm were not other than the entity, which is the sign of something conditioned and to which an adventitious designation, i.e. this is form, has been added on, then even just now all the foolish common people would enter parinirvana, and would fully know the supreme enlightenment. But if the inexpressible realm were other than the entity, which is the sign of something conditioned, then even just now that sign could not be apprehended through which there would be penetration into this inexpressible realm. In this way also, maitreya, you should know that the inexpressible realm is neither other nor not other than that entity, which is the sign of something conditioned and to which an adventitious designation has been added on, i.e. this is form. Maitreya, if, O Lord, the Bodhisattva, the great being, when he proceeds in the wise observation, which is in direct contact with the inexpressible realm, does not apprehend that entity which is the sign of something conditioned to which has been added on an adventitious designation, i.e. this is form, is it not so that he apprehends neither something which exists nor something which does not exist?